Now, while New Year's is of course meant to be a time for celebration, some tragic news coming out of Uganda's capital of Kampala. At least 9 people have been killed in a stampede. The youngest, we understand, is a 10-year-old. Police say people started pushing through a narrow passage just after midnight as they all rushed to see a large fireworks display. Let's get the latest on this terrible tragedy. Ugandan correspondent Isabel Nakirya joining us all the way from Kampala this evening. A very good evening to you, Isabel. So help me understand then the latest on this terrible death toll and what do we know about injuries? Good evening.
Good evening. According to police, the death toll has gone up to 10 people now. Today, police was, the city mortuary people were handed over bodies to them, and we are told that there was a lot of grief there. Police also say they have arrested a prominent events organizer who organized this event, and 10 other people are also arrested. We are told that they will be questioned on whether there was negligence at the event, because we are told that the concert hall where the concert was taking place had 4 gates into that place, but only 1 gate was left open to avoid other people entering the concert without paying. And so there were over 600 people packed into this concert hall, and at midnight the MC announced that they could go outside and watch fireworks, and people rushed out through a narrow passage, and of course there was a stampede, and some people fell down and they were trampled over, and there was suffocation and people died. And many of them were children. About 7 were children and the rest were adults. And so there are questions as to why the organizers did not plan for these big numbers. I think maybe they did not expect such huge numbers at this event. But you know, New Year's Eve celebrations in this country are much hyped, and many people come out on such a day to watch fireworks and to celebrate. And of course, and this particular Freedom City Mall has a park, a children's park at the top floors, and many people had been to that place throughout the day, and the numbers kept growing, and that's how the tragic event took place.
And it's terrible as well, isn't it, Isabel? Because when we talk about Uganda, we know, if memory serves correctly, it was back in 2009, there was another massive stampede, and crowd control generally at events in Uganda has historically been quite a problem. And here's another example of that. What does the government or police have to say about yet another senseless number of deaths?
Usually during events like this, the police is called in to help beef up security of the place. Maybe there could be some terrorist attacks or something like that. So the police is usually in such events. And the events organizers also have their own personal security that they employ to guard the gates and take care of such events. But at this particular event, we are told that police was outside as usual, but the events organizers had very few security personnel to manage the crowd control. So there was a bit of laxity, and I think it failed them in that particular area, because huge crowds of over 600 people trying to get through a narrow passage, and the security guards at the gates also failed to manage this kind of crowd. We are told that the security guards actually closed the gate after people had gone out, and when people were trying to rush back into the concert, he refused other people to come in. And so there was that pushing and pulling and, trampling over people, and people dying in the end.
I'll leave this as a last question to you, Isabel. You mentioned a number of arrests taking place as well at the moment. Do we know if any of them are the event organizer itself, any of the security? Do we know of those arrested? What role did they play?
We just know that the event organizer, who is known by the name Abtex, was arrested, and 10 other people were also arrested. Police is still investigating this particular incident, and they say they will also question the owner of the Freedom City Mall and the managers of that particular mall to find out if there was some rash or negligence act that led to, the stampede and the killing of people in that particular event. That's all we know for now.
Absolutely. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy. Once again, many people being killed in crowd and unmanaged crowds over in Uganda. Isabel, thank you, and all the best for the year as well. I'm sure we'll talk again as you get more details